Hello, dear listeners and viewers. Welcome back to the Relationship Goddess Medicine Show, where you get legit, licensed, psychologically sound miracle cures for relationship insanity and entertainment, of course. I'm YAJ, I'm your host, and I'm thrilled to be back. Thank you for tuning in to the YAJ Pod. And we are going to set sacred space, or I am going to set sacred space for us, for all y'all. And I do that by lighting a candle. I welcome you to join me at home. Woo! And I say, I invite the company of the light. Thank you, little light, for your company. And today I am burning a Tibetan incense stick. I forget the name. There's lots. And I placed my order. I was telling a friend the other day, ordering incense for me is like, it's like part of my grocery list. I mean, it's like every couple of months I place like a $50 order. But it lasts like maybe 2 or 3 months. So this is a Tibetan stick, and just in case you've ever seen this, in case you ever haven't seen this or you don't know what it is, these don't have that like wooden stick on the end. So there's like a grate. You see the grate? And you just lay it on the grate. And that's how the Tibetan and then some Japanese incense sticks burn like that. We got our candle. We got our incense. And we have our Tibetan singing bowl, setting the tone for sacred space. So, I'm a little phlegmy today. A little verklempt. I'll give you a topic. Talk amongst yourselves. Remember that? I'm Linda Richmond. So, come on, baby, smell my fire. I forgot to say that. Today, I am your sacred musical guest today. I haven't even decided what I'm going to sing. I'm going to have to do that very spontaneously later. I'll sing a little ditty on the way out. But I have lots to say. Last week we had Magic Money, Masochism, and the Mississippi Mama. So now I'm naming all the shows. And the Mississippi Mama was the inimitable Julia Lucas, Raw Julia, doing her emotional freedom techniques. I didn't know it was techniques, plural. She's amazing, and we took you out with our unrehearsed but very heartfelt Louisiana woman, Mississippi man. And today we have in the studio moi and the inimitable Ron Geffen, videographer, editor of rocklandstudio.com, behind the camera. It's very hard for me to not look at him because he's like right there, but I'm looking at you, my beloved audience. Mwah. Okay. So newsflash is, and hopefully I'll work this out with Ron. I want you to get like a photograph as you're watching the show of a sign I made that's above the entrance way, the doorway to the YAJ Pod, that says, "Welcome to YAJ Pod." I've been calling this YAJ Pod ever since I set it up over 10 months ago when I moved here. But now it's getting a little serious because I'm becoming a motivational speaker. And I have to write my first speech. And I'm getting all this training and this coaching, and you have to like delineate what's your method. You know, your method. Here was my mess. Here's how I turned it into a success. Here's a lot of my clients' messes, stories of clients who've come in a mess. How did I get them results of a success from their mess? And what is my method? And I, being the stubborn, creative person that I am, I just couldn't. I know it sells well. Call it self-sabotage or just call it YAJ being YAJ. I just couldn't do the 3 steps. Here are your 7 principles to follow. There was something, I was at my computer and I was just like, it was like making me want to hurl. And I was like, damn it. It's going to be the YAJ Pod method. Because this is where I do it, and this is where I teach it. And then I started getting excited. I'll find some acronym, and I'll shove what I already do with people into YAJ POD. And I did. And I know YAJ isn't easy for people to spell, and pod, like I don't believe I'm shooting myself in the foot because I say so. I say so. I say that everyone's going to get this YAJ pod thing, or anyone who needs to get it. And then the concept was like, yeah, so bring the energy and the rules of the pod, to wherever you are, at home, with your partners, at the workplace, at the office, in business. So I just want to show you, this is just a very preliminary magic marker on Xerox paper, the YAJ pod method. Y is for yes yourself, meaning say yes to what your truth is and what you really feel. Identify it. What's your truth? Yes, that is my truth. And like, know that. A, appreciate everything, meaning appreciate all the growth opportunities that come your way, particularly in conflict or with frustrating relationships. I appreciate this opportunity to grow. When you're entering like a difficult, I appreciate it. Bring it on. Journey to understanding. Journey to understanding what's really going on here for me, what's really going on here for this other person, what's underneath the surface. Understanding what's really going on in a difficult situation. P, practice personal responsibility. That really covers everything, frankly. It's all about taking personal responsibility. That's like that's what I'm about. Although I'm very much about the yes to yourself, which is instincts and intuition, your inner, like knowing what your yes is. So practice personal responsibility. O, observe. Open. Own. Observe yourself. Observe the other. Observe the dynamic. Be open-minded, open-hearted to like what might be something you hadn't realized before, and own your own stuff. Like last week, owning my own victimhood. D, dialogue, right? Dialogue. I'm an Imago dialogue expert. That's the main, tool that I teach my clients is dialogue. And what I say is if you're not going to actually do a capital D dialogue, I also train them to be dialogical, not diabolical in all of their communication, meaning follow some of the principles of responsible sending and the rules of dialogue, even if you're not in an official dialogue. So that's my YAJ pod method. I'm going to be developing it, clarifying it, trying on, how it works to delineate it as a method like this, and delivering it in my first speeches that I'll be giving in the next few weeks out in the world. I'll let you know how it goes. So I also want to say Happy Mother's Day. It was just Mother's Day by the time you're watching this. It won't have just been Mother's Day, but I just want to say it out loud. I hope you all had a good Mother's Day, those of you observing Mother's Day. It was my first Mother's Day without my mom. And, that was sad. We always celebrated Mother's Day together. So I had some sadness. But c'est la vie, right? So as always, of course, I have a relationship insanity rant for all of y'all today. And don't stop me if I'm repeating myself, because there are themes and patterns in the universe. And ultimately, I'm not talking here on the Relationship Goddess Medicine Show about infinite topics. I mean, there can be infinite manifestations of the same thing. And one of my, favorite topics that I make no bones about it, I talk about it a lot, is this whole struggle with couples, with monogamy. What does it mean? The myth of monogamy. I held up all those books for you two shows ago that I've been reading, just grappling with the institution of marriage and, getting to terms with how I and how other people really feel about it, getting really clear about what we're really agreeing to. And this has just become a passion of mine. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just saying it's become a passion of mine to study, to think about, to reflect upon, to share, to teach about, to learn. And I had an experience the other night that was very similar to an experience I believe I talked about on an earlier show. I've certainly Facebooked about it? I lose track. Was it a Facebook? Was it a blog post? Was it a goddess letter? I sent out my goddess letter to my email list. Or was it in a show? I think it might have been in a show, but I'm just going to get into it here. You've definitely heard this before if you've watched all my shows. You've heard me say something about this. But, okay, so it's about insecurity. It's about insecure partners. And what, like, controlling attempts to control and controlling behavior, and how it can land to someone who notices on someone to whom the behavior is directed. It's another whole topic on how it feels for the partner. Like a scowling drip. Drip is like an old-fashioned term, like a drag, like a scowling, negative, insecure drag. That's the energy I want to talk about that was directed toward me the other night, because someone, I don't know this person at all, but clearly this person feels threatened by me. Insecure, I could say insecure around me, but the insecurity isn't about me. It's in them, and I trigger it. I wonder if there are other people who trigger it in this person. Generally, it's not just about one person. But so here it is. This was an event where there were families, joy, aliveness, vitality, children. I was dancing, holding my 3-year-old son, who won't give me too much time dancing without holding him. Like, vital joy. And yes, sexual energy, which is part of, that's our joie de vivre. It includes our juices flowing. In the tantric, you don't have to be tantric, but like, what is, I Facebooked the other day, what is tantra? Tantra is being so sensitive and alive in your body, so turned on by life, that everything is potentially orgasmic, and not literally just orgasmic, but including orgasmic, but like that everything is a turn on, that the trees outside make me feel juicy and alive, that the music makes me feel juicy and alive, that my body makes me feel juicy and alive, that your body makes me feel juicy and alive, that my children make me feel juicy and alive. Do you get the point? It's juicy aliveness, okay? This is pure sexual, energy, which is life force energy. I'm not making this up. And then you get an insecure person wanting to poop on your parade, wanting to rain on your party, wanting to like shut you down, like you're doing something wrong by being juicy and alive. So where it really belongs is, first of all right, that's the miracle cure. 1 second. So I'm just reading from my notes because I ranted last night on the computer. I was like, I wrote, someone help me, please. Here I go again. Someone scowling at my smile. I was like radiantly smiling at this person, and I got back this like horrible scowl. And I was just like, okay. I couldn't help beaming because I was having such a good time. I was so happy being in, community with my peeps. And I didn't even strip down to a tiny little bra this time. But someone's feeling threatened by me. And really the main feeling that I have with this is sadness. It makes me sad. That, it makes me sad for our species. It makes me not have hope for our species, that we're going to evolve. Because it's, to me, just such a symptom of something that's gone awfully awry. Awfully awry. And, okay, so miracle cure. let me just say a little bit more. I don't want, I'm trying not to, identify people and make anyone feel like, oh my God, they're talking about me. So like, I'm trying to be really careful. I live in a small community, but clearly this person feels threatened by me when they're out with their partner. Now, let me just tell you, there is nothing that I know about going on between me and their partner. Now, I say that I know about, meaning maybe there's something they know about. Maybe there's something one of them thinks they're hiding and isn't. Maybe there is some interest or attraction, but I'm not, like, I was dancing with my kids. So if you have an issue with your partner's behavior around other people, particularly if you're thinking that they're attracted to somebody, looking at somebody, gawking at somebody, wanting somebody, that two things you need to do. One is you need to, maybe this really works. What is your yes? What is your truth? What is your truth? It bothers me when you look at her. It bothers me. I don't want to go where she's going to be. It bothers me. Okay? You need to address it in yourself, and you may need to address it with your partner. The miracle cure lies therein. So the miracle cure, so what most people do is they blame. They get angry and they blame. And this is why it makes me feel sad for our species, because where do most people place the blame? I mean, yes, some people get angry at their partner, but it's very common that the perceived problem is the person they think their partner is attracted to. So it's like, don't blame me. I'm just having a good time. Don't blame anyone. Why do we go to blame at all? And okay, so I could go off. I say, if you're going to blame anything or anyone, blame the institution of marriage, or blame the myth of monogamy. Now, I'm not saying accept the fact that your partner's going to have sex with all kinds of people besides you. I'm not saying that, though it might be true. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this myth that even invades our own private space, like that your partner's not even allowed to be attracted to somebody else, to notice somebody else, yes, to feel sexual energy towards somebody else. That's a crazy, demented, mentally ill myth. But if you have an issue, if you're uncomfortable, if something's not working for you, yes, yourself, it's not working for me. Get clear, and then go to your partner. Talk to your partner. The truth hurts sometimes, guys, but how's it working out for you to just be internally resentful, scowling at someone who's beaming radiant joy at you, and then having this resentment and insecurity? I don't know. How's that relationship working out? I'm a relationship therapist for 14 years, and I'll give a prognosis on that one. Grim. Either grim for lasting or grim for happiness. Just telling it like I see it, folks. I'm going to read more of my rant. Miracle cure. Dose of the day. Insecure about who your partner's looking at? Someone they're attracted to other than you? Get a fucking grip on yourself. This reminds me of Saturday Night Live. Years ago. I don't care if I'm dating myself. I'm 48. This was back in the, I don't know, was it the 90s cast? I think it was Nora Dunn. I think it was Nora Dunn. She'd play a therapist, and it was a talk show, right? And she was up on the stage with the chairs facing each other, and who's going to get to go up and, talk with, Nora, like Oprah, right? And someone would come up, and no matter what they said, right? No matter what, oh, you're never going to believe, I'm going through something so horrible, whatever it was about their marriage, their parents, whatever it was, their job, she would say, take a look at yourself. Have you taken a look at yourself lately? Look at yourself. That's all she would say. That was her miracle cure. And the person would go, oh my God, I never saw it before, but you're absolutely right. Oh, I see it all so clearly now. It was hilarious. Get a grip. Just get a grip on yourself. What does that mean? It means this. If your partner likes to look at someone else, then they're probably feeling some level of attraction to that person. Ooh. Whoa! Sorry, I try not to be sarcastic. But what are you making that mean? What are you making that mean? That they feel some kind of, like, I look at a painting because I'm attracted to it. I look at a flower because I'm attracted to it. I look at a turkey sandwich because I'm attracted to it. I look at someone I feel is pleasing to my eye because I'm attracted to looking at that person. What are you making that mean? That's the getting a grip. You making that mean my relationship is over? They don't love me anymore? This person's, a whore, a slut? What are you making that mean? That would make you scowl at someone who's smiling at you. It's normal to feel attraction toward people other than your partner. It's normal. It's biological. It's physiological. It's natural. If they're gawking, if they're pawing, if they're making advances, if you feel they really have sexual energy that they want to do something about, and it's distracting from their energy to you, talk to your partner. Discover what your feelings and needs are. Discover what theirs are. Maybe they don't match. And that's the part. I think it's why a lot of people don't talk about this. Maybe your needs and their needs don't match. But here's the rub. Most people won't be honest. So you're not really going to know what their needs are because they're not even being honest with themselves. Because they're afraid they're going to mess up whatever good they have going on with you in the relationship. They don't want to lose it, mess it up, and they're just too afraid of being honest with themselves about something that's as normal as being thirsty or hungry for food or water. Like, yeah, I felt attracted to her for a moment. She looked, she was nice to look at. Like, most people are like, oh, you can't say that, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. But it's the truth. So maybe you guys aren't a match. Maybe you have a need or a perceived need. I would say perceived need to never have your partner ever look at or think about anyone ever again with any kind of sexual energy. And if that's truly your perceived need, and you're not communicating that to your partner, good luck. And if you are communicating that to your partner, quite a miracle cure I'm giving you. I'm getting you a lot of doomsday. Good luck on getting your partner to be honest. But if you could possibly both be honest, that is the miracle cure. If you could possibly both just be like, look, this is what I need. Okay, this is what I need. And see if there's a negotiation and navigation possible. Then you know if the relationship is viable. But what most people do is they just don't talk and they just hide it away and they go into resentments and insecurity and it just contaminates the relationship, which either lasts or doesn't. But either way, yuck, right? So, yeah. So let me just read what I wrote. Sadly, most people will defensively lie, including to themselves, to protect the good thing they got going, even though it can't really be that good if this is going on. Not the attraction to other people, but the controlling drip of a scowling partner. That's my point. I'm not saying how good can it be if your partner's looking at other people. No, I'm saying it's normal to look at other people. How good can that relationship be if your partner gives such negative, toxic energy to someone because they think that their partner might like to look at that person? It means you don't really have a real connection. Like a real connection. But not everybody's up for a real connection, man, and I get that. I'm just ranting and raving and telling you what the miracle cure would be should you choose to have it. I get so riled up. Sometimes my teachings are harsh, Sometimes I can be kind of like the punk rock therapist, But this is so epidemic, rampant, problematic, toxic. And I really felt it the other night. I just really felt it again, but like This was like, I was having a good time and I looked over to this person. I'm just smiling at everyone. Like, that's who I am. I'm smiling. I was holding my 3-year-old son. I know that doesn't mean that I'm not going to go run off with someone's partner, but smiling. And it was like no hiding it, just scowl. I was like, whoa, that's powerful. It was very outdated. I don't know, I just think it's very outdated with the evolution that's going on out there about us understanding more and more, and all these great books, and just, really? It was just like, really? Are we, anyway, whatever. So, I say, if you want to come in, like, you think I don't deal with couples with jealousy, insecurity, affairs, like stuff? Of course I do. 14 years I've been doing it. So if you want to come in and do some real work and find out what real connection really is, bring it on. That's what I do. But if you're going to carry on like this, in denial, parading around like that you have love going on with this person, like, happy trails. Happy trails and best of luck. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. And let me just tell you, it also includes the denial of the person who might have the attraction, who's pretending they don't. I don't know. In this case, I really don't. I could guess, but I really don't. I really don't know. But if the person, like, pretending it isn't there, then that could be what the partner's picking up on. So it's like both. It's like, got to get real, man. And again, it makes me sad, but I stay on my path of truth and freedom and sexual aliveness, baby. I'm not getting off this path. So, to cheer me up, maybe to cheer you up, always gets a little hot in the kitchen when I get into my rant. What the hell am I wearing? Buddha bunkers, right? It just so happens. Not like I did this on purpose. That this is what I was wearing that night. Now some people watching might really know. This is what I was wearing. This is what I was wearing, okay? Beaming, radiant, love and joy. And I get this, So it's, as always, this is my product, man. This is my company, Buddha Bunkers. BuddhaBunkers.com. For messages like this. Negativity really sucks. It does. I wanted to read to you. So I'm back to the miracle cure. But it's like story hour. So gather around, get your blankies and your teddy bears. This is totally not for children. I get to look smart in my glasses. The myth of monogamy. Sitting drinking my first cup of coffee earlier today, I was like, what can I share with my audience? I want to read a little to you. This could become like a segment that I do sometimes, a little reading. Because I know I can whip out all the books that I read, right? Are you going to read them? Maybe some of you. I highlight. I can never borrow books because I'm like highlighting. Highlight. All right, this is a little piece about we don't normally speak about passionate marriage. I know there's a book, Passionate Marriage, David Schnarch and all of his work. A good marriage, we hear of a happy marriage, a comfortable and compatible marriage, yes, but only rarely do we hear about a passionate marriage, or at least not for long. Okay, I want to say this again, and I said this when I whipped out all those books. The first half of this book is this kind of tedious, but really fascinating information about the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom, lots of stuff about birds. And about what's really going on in terms, they call them EPCs, extra pair couplings. How's that? Going outside of your primary relationship for mating. EPCs, extra pair coupling. Now I'm forgetting. There's like, all right, I'm not going to waste, there's something earlier than that. There's like 5 animals that we know mate for life. And even in those 5, we think that they're doing some EPCs on the side too. So this is what I mean, when they say it's not natural, meaning it's not like, it's not happening in the animal kingdom. We are part of the animal kingdom. We've put the structure of marriage and monogamy around it. We created it for monetary reasons, property, paternity, inheritance. But there's all kinds of double standards there too. I can't go too off in one show. Like in the past, like the ancient Hebrews and the ancient, even in Islam, and it goes into this like where it was okay. The Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not covet a neighbor's wife. Of course, where's women in that, right? What about if a woman's coveting someone's husband? No, like that wasn't even like women weren't even like allowed to be thought that they could be adulterers. And it's not okay to covet, to even think about being attracted to someone's wife. But unmarried women were free game, by the way, to think about and do things with. It was only if she was someone's property. So, the myth of monogamy. I'm reading from the myth of monogamy, fidelity and infidelity in animals and people by David Barash and Judith Eve Lipton. Okay, so in Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud, Freud suggested that civilization is built on the repression of the instincts. He did contribute some good ideas. Is there anything antisocial about multiple matings? Yes, if society forbids such behavior, and if monogamy is contracted for and hence expected by the other spouse. I'm all about agreements. What's the agreement? Well, it's really easy to just kind of assume that agreement because society backs up that agreement that you're just going to have sex with me. I'm the only one for the rest of your life. But I help people talk about, well, what is your agreement? What works for you? Okay. Civilization is founded not only on the repression of the instincts, but also on the ascendancy of law. Once a law or a social expectation exists, unless it is grossly unfair, there is a presumption that decency and social order are furthered by obedience to it. Once a monogamous code exists, therefore, perhaps violating that code is antithetical to higher levels of civilization and of personal development. Even if monogamy isn't necessary for civilization, however, it is clear that public adherence to monogamous ideals is necessary for success and survival in current Western civilization, if only because that is the way we have defined ourselves. It's complex. I'm just going to continue a little bit. Many people are capable not only of making love to, but also of loving more than one person at the same time. But we are socially prohibited from doing either. This social prohibition is a powerful one, and in the long run, it generally wins, although usually not without a struggle, and often with some short-term defeats. And that struggle, experienced as occasional brief flings or a night or a weekend, long extramarital relationships over months or years, or just fantasized encounters, may be the source of some of the most complex, intense, and confusing emotions that human beings experience. And then I love this. It has been suggested that the mental health profession often serves as a social band-aid, simply helping people adjust to a sick society. What did I say before about, I said something about that before. And often siphoning energy and attention where it is most needed, the reformation of social ills. Perhaps the effort expended in adjusting to monogamy is like this. Perhaps we should instead adjust our ideals of monogamy, of monogamous matrimony to accord with human inclinations. Maybe instead of taking monogamy as the norm and thus being shocked, they're quoting Casablanca, shocked by adultery, we should see infidelity as the baseline condition, whereupon we might be free to examine monogamy dispassionately for the rarity that it is. I mean, the rarity just in facts. Not saying what should be or shouldn't be, the fact that actual physical monogamy over the course of an entire marriage is rare, and in the animal kingdom it's almost non-existent. This assumes, however, that there is a better alternative. For example, that open, unstructured, and non-restrictive sexual relationships would make people happier. There is no reason to believe that this is true. Indeed, many utopian social experiments have failed precisely because feelings of interpersonal possessiveness got in the way, big shock, of the idealized dream of social and sexual sharing. Society, with its expectation of monogamy, establishes the boundaries of who is and who is not an acceptable sexual partner. Marriage, it is assumed, narrows this field considerably to just one individual. Some may find this stultifying, others reassuring, since it generates a haven of surety and confidence, ideally free of the brawls of sexual competition. No other marital pattern, polygyny, polyandry is a woman having multiple partners, husbands even, group marriage, open marriage, has been shown to work better. Nonetheless, monogamy does not work perfectly, and throughout history, people have been delighted and bedeviled, energized and agonized by monogamy and by departures from it. On balance, perhaps monogamy is like Winston Churchill's description of democracy, the worst possible system, except when you consider the alternatives. I love this book. And I wrote, this morning, when I was rereading this and re-highlighting it in another color, I wrote in the margins, but no other way has been really explored. These other ways of social, more or less, structured sexual relationships, because you can't, in the context of this society, explore another way unless it's just private, secret clubs, secret, cults that would be considered aberrations. We can't. I don't know if we ever will be able to really explore, have it be accepted that some people explore open. So, it's becoming more with these books and these people coming out more, but I don't know. I don't know. Jury's out, but I don't know if we'll ever really be able to explore it openly without being really judged in general. So, it goes on and on. It says, don't despair. So this is not to say that monogamy, even happy, fulfilled monogamy, is impossible, because in fact, it is altogether within the realm of human possibility. But since it is not natural, it is not easy. There is very little connection, if any, between what is natural or easy and what is good. I wrote a question mark there, like, whoa, that's like beyond what I can get into right now. But don't despair. The future is not necessarily bleak, neither for personal happiness nor even for monogamy itself, assuming, of course, that one is sufficiently committed and honest about that. That's my words, at least to the latter. Even though there may be no perfect other half ideally crafted for each person, that whole thing about there's one perfect person in the world for me, just waiting to be thrown together by fate some enchanted evening, in the course of a loving marriage, two people have the opportunity to hone and shape their shared experiences such that one's partner does in fact become a rather precisely fitting key, uniquely adapted to the other's lock and vice versa. So they're saying it is possible. And it does happen. The perfect fit of a good monogamous marriage is made, not born. For some people it comes real naturally, but they're a very small minority. And despite the fact that much of our biology seems to tug in the opposite direction, such marriages can, in fact, be made. It is an everyday miracle. They're saying that's how we should look at it. It's a miracle when couples are happily monogamous. You could celebrate it if you want to, but it's a miracle. Monogamy among animals is a matter of biology. So is monogamy among human beings. But in the human case, monogamy is more. It is also a matter of psychology, sociology, anthropology, economics, law, ethics, I'm almost done, theology, literature, history, philosophy, and most of the remaining humanities and social sciences as well. Not to mention love, trust, hope, disillusionment, fear, anger, frustration, disappointment, delight, despair, amusement, irritation, expectation, tolerance, intolerance, loyalty, betrayal, lust, boredom, excitement, confidence, anxiety, money, poverty, children, barrenness, engagement, disengagement, sickness, health, life, and death. And just about everything else. Get the point? It's complex. So that's my lesson for the day. I'd love it to hear from you, your feedback, YAJ at therelationshipgoddess.com. And by the way, on my website, therelationshipgoddess.com. You can sign up for my goddess letter. I send out a newsletter with either a rant or, it's short. It's never really long, and there'll be links there where you can click to watch the show and stuff. But you can sign up for the newsletter on the website. Would love to hear what you think about any of this. Facebook, The Relationship Goddess. And next show, we are going to have a very special guest, although I have to apologize because I didn't get the terms and the titles and the words that she would like me to use to describe, to introduce who she is and what she does. But her name is Sue Ananian, and I know her to be a very talented, experienced leader of circles, of spiritual circles, a teacher, an avid student of lineages, of teachings. I don't know her credentials. I mean, I don't know. Forgive me. I should just stop because I don't know what she would or wouldn't want me to say about her training, her experience, her background. I know that she is very trained and very, very experienced and has an extensive background doing lots of really amazing things that help people. And her name is Sue Ananian, and she's going to come on and give us some really juicy, meaty, cool stuff. I just know it's going to be really, really, really cool. And to take us out, I'm just going to sing a little bit, kind of lighten the mood a little bit. I sing a lot. I sing my prayers. I make up lullaby. I write my little ditties. I write the lullabies for my children. It's just something I love. And years ago, actually, my ex came up with a little ditty that I took the tune of and added to it. And it's about trust. And I was just kind of thinking this might go with, really the miracle cure of all of this yuck. Would be something that has a vibration that's in alignment with something like this. I trust me. I love me. I'm open to guidance I receive, and I trust me. I trust me. I love me. I stand by me faithfully, and I trust me. I trust you. I love you. I'm open to you and your truth, and I trust you.